NorCal. 209 King of Comedy. It's Rick without the K. James presents, in my opinion, podcast.
This was a question when I was a fucking kid, is who was the better artist?
Okay.
Was it MJ or was it fucking Prince, right?
Okay.
And I only bring this up because we just brought up MJ. And I will tell you, when I was a kid in the 80s growing up, again, I couldn't wait for all his videos to come out. And even my father would be like, hey, MJ's coming. Like, you having a seizure? What the fuck are you doing? Right? So, had all the movies and all that shit growing up. And we couldn't wait to see what MJ was going to do. Back then, I thought MJ was the better artist. Today, I'm going to say, and let me say this, where I think both people are geniuses.
Yes.
I think both of them are great in their own respect.
Yes.
But the only reason I think Prince actually was a better artist was because not only could he sing, this man played instruments too.
Like 25 instruments or some shit like that.
Fucking just outrageous. Just musically. Like, it's one thing to sing and do that, and I'm not taking away nothing from MJ, but I think I have to, where I would rather listen to a Michael Jackson song. But I think as a artist, I gotta give it to fucking Prince for me. So sorry, viewers, if you don't agree with me, but maybe you should look that up. And I hear from musicians. You know, my girl's daughter sings and has a beautiful voice, and she's trying to learn how to play the guitar and get that down. And she just says it's so much harder to learn where I'm fucking strumming the guitar and sing. She goes,
Right.
It just takes a different mind pattern to do that correctly. So just hearing from a musician, I could totally understand it. I mean, you know, as you're doing comedy, it's hard to come up with new material when you're focused on the old material.
Right.
So to have that birth of a new joke on stage where you're like, man, finally. And I think that takes years and years of being in the comedy game to actually think you're doing a good job on stage than actually writing something new on stage and be like, that shit was fire.
Well, you could bring a bunch of new shit every night if you want. It's probably not going to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you can bring a bunch of new shit, and that's really the genius of Prince, is that he was so prolific. And I almost feel like it's an unfair comparison. It's a natural comparison. I understand why people compare the two, but it's an unfair comparison because you don't have two equals. Michael Jackson was the king of popular music. Prince never gave a fuck about that. Prince was gonna be his own artist, and Prince was gonna make the music that he wanted to make. And if motherfuckers didn't like it, fuck them. You know what I mean? But Michael Jackson was the king of popular music. That's its own throne. That's its own lane, its own universe. What Prince was doing is Prince was saying, I am the epicenter of all these things that I'm creating. I'm at the middle of it all, from the music to the lyrics to the singing. I'm the one who's creating all of this. So to me, they're not equals, and it's a little bit of an unfair comparison. But I understand why people do it. But to answer your question, though, I'm for sure going to give Prince the upper hand in terms of who's the greater artist, because when it comes to my definition of what an artist is, Prince just had way more to offer. Way more. But Michael Jackson was the king of pop, and that counts for something. I mean, to be able to come up with music that is considered popular music, that's not an easy task. But what Prince did, in my opinion, is just more impressive. It's way more impressive.
So are we going to go 3-0 or?
I remember being in elementary school and girls talking about Prince's new album. Oh my God, it's so dirty. Like, did you hear his blah, blah, blah song? And I'm like, I'm not allowed. I'm not old enough to hear.
Yeah.
No, seriously, that's how Prince was when he was younger. He, like, some of his stuff is
provocative.
It is. Yeah, because I don't want to say dirty because it's not fully dirty, but provocative, definitely. And when you were, another album that you were talking about, when you were talking about best R&B albums, would definitely be Purple Rain. I mean, I grew up on that shit in the 80s, and to hear all that and to watch that, like, I fell in love with Prince. Like,
even that for the soundtrack. Too.
Yes. Yes.
The soundtrack.
And, like, when I talk to my husband, like, nobody ever had an inkling or even thought that Prince wasn't manly at all.
Right.
You always knew that he was in there with the ladies.
Absolutely.
He was totally a ladies' man, and he knew how to sing to them.
Electra?
Dude, come on, man. He had a gravitas. You know what I mean? He was.
Remember the Twins? He was with the Twins. What was that? Diamonds and Pearls?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was sexuality incarnate.
Oh,
from
completely.
you know.
You would pick Prince as well then?
Yeah, just because
There was a hesitation there.
Well, so I even posed the question to my mom. My mom was like, "Well, what are you talking about? He's more pop." Talking about Michael Jackson. And so, like, for even my mom, who's in her 70s, to say that, clearly Prince is definitely more R&B, and he owned all his own music, which is really hard as an artist.
Would you listen to more Prince or Michael Jackson?
I mean, both of them come up on my playlist, but I probably listen to
I think
more
I have
Prince.
to be in the mood to listen to Prince. Whereas if an MJ song comes on, I just turn.
Well, but that's exactly why Michael Jackson was the king of popular music.
Yes.
What is popular?
Amen.
So what do you listen to more?
I don't listen to either one of them, to be honest with you. You know, it's I really like. I'm very.
I listen to both.
I'm very much aware of both of them and their phenomenal careers.
I've been listening to
But to be honest with you, like that, I kind of missed that window. You know what I mean? So for me, like I wasn't raised on Michael Jackson. Of course, we all knew who Michael Jackson and Prince was, all of us. But I don't go to the house and be like, man, I got to play some fucking Billie Jean. You know?
See, I had the first album, Thriller, and I had the album. I used to turn off the lights in my bedroom and listen to Thriller because it was creepy as hell.
Yeah.
I had that poster.
That was the first major video of all of them.
Oh,
That brought out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that was his first solo album.
Yeah.
That movie.
You know?
Ding.
Because honestly, I loved him when he was in the 70s too.
Yeah.
When he did all the 70s stuff, oh my God. But when Thriller was basically his first pop album. And I had that picture up on my wall where he was in the gold and the white.
Right.
Like, that was on my wall. That was me.
I remember growing up, every Halloween, that would be the video.
That was a shit right there.
Vincent
they
Price.
had to play on MTV or whatever.
How many
You know what I
people?
mean? So,
I'm sure your son doesn't know who Vincent Price is. Do you know who Vincent?
No.
Fuck!
Vincent Price.
God damn you guys!
Tell us.
Are you seriously don't know?
I don't know who
either?
Vincent Price is. Tell me.
Y'all need to Google him because he did all the old horror films. And
Okay.
He's the voice.
Okay.
In that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's the laugh.
But
He did horror. So he was a movie director.
He was an actor.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't feel so bad
He
then.
has the laugh. He's the one that's talking in the very end.
Okay.
That's Vincent Price.
The one thing that I will give to Mike is
No, I just didn't. I didn't pay that much attention when I was young. That's all it was. I was in my own world, thinking about one day becoming a semi successful stand up comic. It's like, how am I going to get this dream?
the one thing that I want to give to Mike that most people don't know, and you can find hella clips out there, is just the genius behind his music making. Do you know sometimes he'd sit on songs for like years, months, years,
Right.
whatever. And there was one video that we were talking about Babyface, because I didn't realize how in the culture Babyface
Which that kills me.
was, and he was talking about who was he with, the other dude that found Usher and Outkast and
That found Usher and Outkast.
the
That worked with Babyface.
yeah.
I don't know.
Because all I can think is Jimmy
Jay
Jam
Prince?
and Terry Lewis.
No.
So.
He's the producer, the A&R, the like head of that label and shit.
Mm,
But anyway,
okay.
him and Babyface got called up by Michael Jackson to do a song, and they were like, "Yeah, it'd be like me getting called up from fucking Dave Chappelle. You wanna
Right.
work with me? Fuck yeah, I want to work with you.
Right.
Like, yes, I'm there. Whatever. Right. So they said they started making a song, and then they sent it. Hey, what do you think of this? Mike was like, no, not good enough. Not. And they went on for almost a year or whatever. And finally, Babyface told him, as much as I love wanting to work with Mike, I've got all these other artists lined up, and you're taking too much time away from me.
Because he had
I
a
can't."
shit ton. Babyface
Yeah.
is.
Well, I was like, what? And it was just mind blowing because, like I said, that's Michael Jackson. That's
Yeah.
the fucking king of pop right
Yeah,
there. Like,
yeah.
Like,
But he's still an artist.
So to hear
like-
how crazy he was over one fucking song,
Right.
Could you imagine that whole craziness? Because he probably got it beat into him as a child, though, too.
Of course,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Or he might
I
have-
tell my kids they're lucky that I don't hit them because they could be something great. Goddamn.
Y'all gonna be regular because your dad didn't hit you.
I know the other song I was thinking of. How come I feel like somebody's
Watching me.
So that's Michael
Okay.
on the hook.
Oh yes. That I do know. That was Michael Jackson on the hook for that. Yeah. Okay.
He did a lot of hooks for
A lot of hooks, yeah.
People don't know.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And that was who sang that song? It was
See, now that guy.
yeah,
Was it?
Orange Juice Jones. I know that.
Are you
I only
sure?
yeah, I know that because I saw that on VH1's. They had like I love the
Bubble
'80s or
thing?
something. Yeah, the bubble. Yeah. Hey, no, you're right. It was Orange Juice Jones. Yeah, the song about stalking.
Boy Charlie Murphy, my main man Rick James. That's the one you think, the comedian Rick James. Get up.
I can't hear my neighbor crying, I can't breathe.
Please hit the subscribe button down low so you can see all new clips, all new episodes coming to you.